We've been gone a long time. We back now. You twins? Nah, we cousins.
There are legends of people with the gift of making music so true. It can conjure spirits from the past and the future. This gift can bring fame and fortune.
Will somebody take me?
We're talking about Sinners today, which is follows the story of two twin brothers called Stack and Smoke. And we're in 1932 Mississippi, in the outback, and these two brothers are both war veterans and used to work for the Chicago Mafia. And they're back in this home little town where they grew up, and they want to set up a juke joint, which is almost like a jazz dance club for the local community. And a lot of the film is them trying to put this business together under the circumstances that the two of them are black and they are trying to set up a business. Yeah, they do meet a few characters along the way, let's call them that. First impressions, Buzz, about the film. What were your... did you had any expectations going in?
No, not at all. I had not too much recollection of seeing a trailer for this film. Actually, I think maybe once I saw a trailer for it, but I forgot it by the time I actually put my bum down on the seat in the cinema. And to be honest, Alex, I think this is a little bit of a treat, this film. Coming out of cinema, I actually felt that was actually a really good viewing experience. That was something different. It was good acting and so forth and so on. But as you say, yeah, these two brothers, Smoke and Stack, or Smokestack, if you want to call them that, they had some business in, I believe, Chicago. So they went to the big city, and that business didn't really go as planned, or they got chased out, or they stole some money and they needed to flee again. So they come back to their old stomping ground, their kind of like a little town where they're from, to set up this bar of music and song and dance and so forth and so on. And as you say, they have a few hiccups doing this, because there's still this kind of racial divide, with it being, I think you said 1930s, isn't it? And it's in the South in America. And, so that's part and parcel of the film. But, midway through, Alex, we get quite a surprise, don't we? It kind of changes course.
Yes, yeah. I mean, again, I don't know what's happening with the marketing department. The trailer gives it away, and if you watch the trailer, you'll know exactly what that mid surprise is. We're talking about spoilers ahead. If you didn't see the trailer, we're talking about some of the guests are vampires, let's call it, and it all turns into a from dusk till dawn situation. But before we get to that point, I really enjoyed the fact that the film takes its time with its characters. To develop them, to get to know them, to get to root for them, which is most important, to care for them. So then when the action starts, you almost feel like it's not enough action. But the other thing that I really enjoyed is how everything is anchored in the theme music. Everything is related to the theme. That's where it all starts. Because even the villain is looking for a very talented young man in this club, essentially, besides obviously being vampires, but he is literally targeting this person, and all the film you're thinking why, and not until the very last minute you actually find out why. What are your thoughts on that sort of background of music and how that comes into what you were seeing? Because I really enjoy that.
Yeah, so the soundtrack for this film is very good, and as you say, a big part of it is the kind of, it's mentioned that the music can bring in saints and angels, as well as the underworld, the devils and the demons, and as we go on to find out, vampires, and it almost attracts them, this sympathy of music, which is fantastic in its nature, but it also attracts the worst spirits going.
What y'all doing? Just step aside and let me on in now.
Why you need him to do that? You big and strong enough to push past us?
Well, that wouldn't be too polite now, would it, Miss Annie? I don't know why I'm talking to you anyway. Smoke.
Don't talk to him. You talking to me right now. Why you can't just walk your big ass up in here without an invite, huh? Go ahead. Admit to it.
Admit to what?
That you dead.
So you listening to this? Now we out here playing games, telling ghost stories in place of doing what we ought to do.
And what is it we supposed to be doing?
Being kind to one another. And being polite. Now, we is one people, and we shouldn't go in barging into other folks' places uninvited, so... We've been in and out of here all day. Ain't never need an invite then. Yeah, something ain't adding up. Can I at least get my money?
Careful.
That's a big part of the film, and there's a great shot, isn't there, Alex, of the Juke bar when they set it up, and it's in the midst of the night, and there's a very brave kind of panning shot across the room of people dancing and drinking and being merry, but it's got characters of particular eras of music dancing. So there'll be a beatbox dancer, and then there'll be a rapper, mostly from the black community, and then there'll be a jazz player, and then there'll be a blues player, and it's like panning around the room, and I think there's even like a Red Indian, isn't there, actually, with a drum and stuff like that. And, so it's really kind of interesting shot to show just slap bang in the middle of the film. And it's just one of these things that just makes it a little bit different, this. And that's why it's such a good viewing experience, And also, just on a little side note, with Smoke and Stack, they're dressed smartly, they're very alpha males, and you're rooting for the get-go, aren't you? You really want them to succeed,
Yes, yeah, and they're played very well by Michael B. Jordan, both of them, and so different. I mean, I quickly forgot this is the same actor, that just shows you how good the acting is, how good he plays the two different characters. But yeah, I mean, the film is directed by Ryan Coogler, which this cements him, I think, as a very confident director. I mean, he's done small films like Creed and Fruitvale Station, but he's done the Black Panther films, all of them successful box office hits. With this one, I mean, this is a full original story, which is amazing, and at the same time is so meaningful and impactful and very well filmed. Cinematography is amazing. This is filmed in IMAX on actual celluloid, which is expensive, and if you see it on a bigger screen, you can see it's the most impressive film of the year, probably. So all in all of these, it just ticks all the right boxes to make it almost like an event film, the event film of the year. And the best part that I enjoyed was the fact that it has no previous IP, as in it's not based on a famous book, it's not based on a comic book, it's not Marvel, it's not nothing like that. It's just a pure original story, well delivered, and looks gorgeous on the screen. And it's entertainment too, isn't it, Baz? You laughed, and it was tense, wasn't it, when you watched it?
Yeah. You were shocked, you were fearful, you laughed, you were amused, and yeah, it really did have kind of quite the collection of movie attributes that it needs to be to score highly, especially on our recommendations. And as I say, it's almost quite funny because with the vampires in the film, there's that kind of interlinks with the kind of racial divide that the America must have been facing in the 1930s. You could replace the vampires with white people, and even vice versa. There's a bit of a trope with vampires only being allowed in buildings if invited, and that they make a big play on that in the film. But again, you could just say that with the segregation. So I think it's quite well done, and and I'd say probably gem of the year so far, wouldn't you, Alex?
Absolutely, great surprise, and I don't think it's gonna go unnoticed, but what an absolute surprise, and what a great film to watch.
Thank you very much for watching our review of Sinners. If you'd like to watch a film that's in the same sort of era and has a bit of mysticism about it, me and Alex would recommend Piano Lesson, which we also reviewed and rated quite highly. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next episode.